Hello, welcome or welcome back. Today I am talking about money. Yay! We all love money. Why not have a little bit more of it using the law of assumption? I'll explain how you do that in this video, and I'm going to share with you 3 examples of personal experience how I have manifested just random amounts of money into my bank account. So stick around. My name is Hedley Derenzie. I am a qualified life coach and author. I am also super passionate about the amazing teachings of the law of assumption as originally taught by the great American mystic Neville Goddard. It is the stories we tell that create our life. So if you want to change your life, then you need to change the story. And if you would like to create the most amazing life for yourself, then you need to know how to tell the most amazing stories. And that is why I am here. Since discovering these teachings, I am now telling myself much better stories, and I want to help you to do the same. If you would like further support with this, I am available for one-to-one coaching. I also have a free 21-day Set Yourself Up with the Ultimate Self-Concept course. Or if you just want to stay connected, I am on Instagram. All of those details are in the comments box below this video. So with that said, let's get into it. Okay, so today we are talking about money. Yay! Well, abundance, but specifically money, because it is an important part of our life. It's something that we use every day. Working with money, we're in relationship with money. It's coming in, it's going out, often multiple times throughout the day. So it is an important element and part of our life. So we want to make sure we have a really good relationship with money. And a good relationship with money is just based on having a good story. And that's something that not all of us were gifted with. Some of us, yes. Some of us have a wonderful money story and we live in abundance and we enjoy money and money comes in and out in an organic and natural way. For other people, it's a bit more of a struggle. So wherever you fit on that continuum, I just want you to know that it's all up for change. If you want to change your story with money and have a more favorable relationship and experience with money, you can absolutely do that using the principles of law of assumption. And that's what I want to talk about today. Always remember, consciousness is the one and only reality, and reality is just reflecting back consciousness. So whatever story is the dominant story that you're holding in consciousness about anything, that is what has to show up in reality. We don't know how, we don't know when, that's not our job to know. Our work is done in consciousness. So if you want to shift your story and relationship with money, you do all of that in consciousness. For me, in terms of my money story, I've had an interesting story with money. I have and I want to say this, how do I say this? We were, I guess you'd say, middle class to wealthy, perhaps middle class to wealthy. My dad was very successful with money, so he had a lot of money, but he controlled the family with money, and it was often used as a currency for love and power. I had to kind of unravel a negative story that I had around money and recreate it. So I have been working a lot with my money and abundance story, and it's a work in progress like everything else. One great thing that I've had with my money story is that I've always known that money can come through any avenue. I've never been limited that money comes through just a job or you've got to work hard for money. I've never had that story. So I have frequently experienced large amounts of money just showing up. And it's happened before I was aware of the law of assumption, and then I used the law of assumption to do that. So I've done that unconsciously, and I've also done it consciously. I just want to share that with you because that's a belief, that's a story that I'd love to pass on to you in terms of money can show up in infinite number of ways. Money is not limited in how it can show up in your reality. The only limits are the ones that you place on it with the story that you tell in your consciousness about money. So it's a really good idea to look at what were your parents' relationship like with money and how did that get passed on with you? Was money a struggle? Do you struggle with money? Do you find that it comes in and then goes straight out? Or do you find that it doesn't come in and you don't know how to get it and you're constantly chasing it? Or do you find that it comes in and you're overwhelmed with it and you don't want it? Like, what's your story? Or do you just have a really lovely, organic, abundant relationship with money? It's good to know what your story and relationship with money is. You can know by simply looking out into reality and asking your reality, like, what's my reality showing about my relationship with money? Is it favorable or unfavorable? Am I happy with it, or would I like to improve it? And if you would like to improve it, then yay, you're in the right place and you got the right teachings, because law of assumption can absolutely help with that. It's as simple as changing the story and using your imagination to engage that story and bring it to life. And that's literally it. Like, that's the work we're doing. All the work we do with everything is done in consciousness. All the effort, and I've done another video on action, the action that we take becomes automatic. When we align in consciousness with the new story, it's almost like the action then becomes automatic. We don't have to think about it. We just take the next step and take the next step, and everything just becomes like this natural, easy, flowing experience where we don't feel like we're trying or struggling or pushing. It's the next right action just gets presented and we take it, and then we take the next action and the next action. So this is not about not taking action, but the work we're doing and the effort we're putting in is done in consciousness. And then we go out into reality, and reality organizes itself so that we then take the right action. It presents itself in front of us and we go, oh, right, okay, that's or we get an idea, we go, oh, cool, I'll do that. You'll know in the moment, but it's not something that's forced or strategized or manipulated into being. We're not doing that here. So I just want to make that point. Okay, so the example that I wanted to share is, it was about a few years ago. I mean, and I say this, I'm using 3 examples. I've actually got many, many more, but I just wanted to use 3 where I use this unconsciously and then consciously. So law of assumption works whether you're aware of it or not. Basically, you can use it consciously, which is what I would recommend, or unconsciously, which is what I wouldn't recommend, because often the unconscious use of law of assumption is based on negative stories, and then we get a negative reality back and we don't know why. We think we're victims. It's not the case. It works regardless. So a couple of years ago, I was doing an abundance meditation course, like some 21-day thing. I was doing a 21-day abundance meditation course. Throughout that course, I was really working on creating a new consciousness with money, and during that course, I had about $5,000 show up into my bank account just randomly. It was an old travel card that I don't even remember having. I don't remember not closing it. It was a weird story. Like, I really don't know where that money came from. They said it was a travel card I hadn't closed, but I just don't remember. So it was really random. Then earlier this year, just as I had come back into these teachings, so I was using the law of assumption consciously in my life at the beginning of the year, and I was involved in a business incubator, or I wanted to be involved in a business incubator. It was going to cost me $16,000 because I had this business idea that I wanted to get off the ground, but I didn't know how to do it. So I wanted to get involved with this company who would help me, but it was going to cost me 16 grand. I was like, oh, that's a big chunk of money out of my savings. Do I really want to spend that? And then I just remembered the money that had come into my account randomly from that abundance meditation I'd done a few years ago. So I just thought, you know what? That's just going to happen again. We'll just do it that way. We'll just have the money show up in my account. And I just decided that was what's going to happen, that this money would just show up in my account, and I would have the money to pay for this program. I'm not kidding you. The next time I went into my bank account to check my account, so that must have been maybe 2 or 3 days later after having that thought, 20 grand just in my account out of the blue. Not like I hadn't even had in that particular account, I hadn't even had that much money in that account. And I was just like, oh my God. I can't even repeat what I was so blown away. I actually ended up on the floor like laughing and just like screaming, going, oh my God, this works. Like, it was unbelievable. There was some takeover of a company that I had invested in years and years and years ago, but there was some payout, and that was the payout. I just went, oh my God. Anyway, so I paid for the program, the business program, and bang, we were done. Because I was coasting on that experience for a while, I sort of dropped my conscious awareness around money, because I was like, woohoo, we're like coasting for a while. I realized that my bank accounts were starting to go down and down and down, because I was like, yeah. And I wasn't really like focusing on bringing any more money in other than, you know, the money through work or whatever. So I thought, okay, I need to do this. I need to readjust or realign my consciousness to abundance again. And I just thought, you know what? I could just do it with an extra 10 grand. Like, an extra 10 grand would be great, just to sort of insert that into my account. So it just lifts it right back up to a level I'm comfortable with. It was probably maybe a week or 2 or 3. It was a short amount of time, and I got an email from my mum, because my mail goes to her address. So I was living overseas for a couple of weeks, and my mail was going to my mum's, and so she emailed me, and she goes, it was on a Friday, because the subject line was a Friday thrill, and she'd opened it and there was a check for 10 grand. And this was crazy, because it was there'd been some royal commission into the banking sector here in Australia. So the bank that I was invested in was refunding their clients all of the fees that they had ever charged over like a really long period of time, and mine added up to about 10 grand. It was just a bit over. So, you know, that happened. And I was just like, oh my God. So those are the most recent ones. This stuff works. This stuff works. I'm now going, all right, well, 10 grand is awesome. Let's try some bigger amounts. I mean, 20 grand is awesome too. So I just wanted to share these examples so that because I'm in your reality, I'm in your movie, this story that I'm now sharing is now in your consciousness. So because I've shared this story and now you're aware of it, you now know that money can show up randomly through avenues that you can't even plan for, that you will not be able to even like think of how this could possibly show up. Your only job is to work out how much you want and then just know you're the creator of your reality. Consciousness is the one and only reality, and reality is just a reflection of consciousness. So whatever you can hold in consciousness, including an amount of money, that is what will show up. However, there's a caveat with this, and Neville will say the only reason people fail with this stuff is because it's not natural. They haven't connected to the naturalness of it. It has to feel natural. I would suggest starting small, starting with some amounts that feel natural to you. Don't go pushing yourself with some multi-million dollar amounts and some Bitcoin like billionaire success that, I mean, hey, don't let me stop you. If that feels natural to you, go for it, and then just email me and tell me about it, because that will be an awesome story. So yeah, it has to feel natural. However, the work that you do is done in consciousness. So the amounts that you claim for yourself, you claim them in consciousness. And then you just remind yourself of the way things are, which is imagination is what's real. Reality is just reflecting back the imagination, the imagined reality, which is what's real. That's how this works. Now that you've heard my story and my examples, that is now in your reality. That's now in your field of possibilities for you. And that's why I wanted to share those examples so that you can actually put those into practice yourself and play with it. What's an amount, like right now, what's an amount that jumps into your mind, like bang. All right, great. Go create that. Hold that amount in consciousness. Know that this amount can show up in an infinite number of ways. You have no idea how that might be. It is not your job to control it. It is also not advised to go looking out into your reality and go, is it here yet? Is it here yet? I did not do that with any of those three examples. They all showed up completely unexpectedly, and yet I also knew that somehow they would. That's an important part of this process. You can't go looking out into reality, because that's just going to keep it away. Because if you're looking out into reality, that's saying you don't have it. You can't do that. I mean, you can, but you're just not going to manifest what you want. So just hold it in consciousness, hold the story, know that you're the creator, and that this will show up eventually, and it'll be a surprise, and that's fun. You want it to be a surprise, so do not go looking for it. Just know that it will show up. That's all I wanted to say. Please remember, you are the creators of your reality. You are the superstar of your show. You are the producer, the writer, the director, and the actor in your movie. What you assume to be true will be so. So assume the best for you, and assume the best for everyone in your movie too, and you will have an amazing life. This is my wish for you. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like, comment, and share with family and friends. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I'd love to have you, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks, bye.